Ooh, I've got something good for you today. And it's something that you didn't even know that you were missing. And it is this cute bag charm that can be made with a snap. Waha! See? Told ya! In a snap. You can use this cute bag charm to hide your earbuds, and since it is a sunflower, it is perfect for the season that we are in right now. And the best part, you ask? Well, let me tell you, you can find the free pattern for this cute design in the description box down below. So go ahead and grab your free pattern and let's get yarning. Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. Today we are creating, as you saw, this cute sunflower bag charm where you can hide a roll of bags, or if you prefer, you can hide your earbuds into it. So, I'm going to stop talking because I'm sure you want to know what we need to create this pattern. What we need are our 3.75 millimeter hook. We need a darning needle. We need some of our best friends here, some stitch markers, a pair of scissors. We need some yellow yarn and brown for the center part. The brown color that I am using is called Cinnamon from the brand I Love This Yarn. And the yellow I am using is called Yellow from the Premier Just Yarn. And this is worsted weight as well, acrylic yarn. And so, how about we just stop talking? Let's get going to our pattern. I'm going to move my stuff around here so I can make sure that I have a clear space to create the magic. So the first color we're going to be working with is our brown color, which in this case it is Cinnamon. And this piece is worked in rounds. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do something a little different and put a little round counter up here on the left side. And that way you can keep track of where you are while you're following along with me and the pattern that I have in the description box for you down below. Now, go ahead and we're going to do a magic ring. If you don't know how to do a magic ring, I do have a short for you up here. You can click on over there if you like, or just stay over here and hang out with me, and I'll show you really quick how to create one. So I have my yarn piece here. I'm holding it like this. You're going to grab the working yarn and you're going to go around your two fingers here. You're going to go around again and cross over to the other side, making a cross. Now go ahead and grab your hook and you're going to go into the first string there. You're going to grab the second leg here. You twist it and go again, grab that working yarn and go into that hole there. And you got yourself a magic ring. And what we're going to do is that we are going to work into the magic ring in center right there, right inside there. And we're going to work up 6 single crochets into that magic ring. And this is going to be round 1. So go ahead, round 1. Bing. And we're going to do single crochets, like I said. So go into that center spot of the magic ring and yarn over and pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. And you got your first single crochet. For you beginners, please, please, please use your best friend, your stitch marker. And you are going to mark up your first stitch here, because when you work in rounds, you can lose count of where you started your stitch and where it ends. And then you'll have to start all over, and that won't be fun. So we have 1 single crochet, and go ahead and do a second one just the same way. And you're going to work right into that magic ring, just like so. And it's very easy. And it's also very easy to lose count just like I did. So we have 6 single crochets. If you count them, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is where your stitch marker is. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we are going to close our magic ring here. This is our working yarn. Do not touch that. You want to grab the other piece here that we have hanging off. It's going to be a little short like this. Yours may be a little long depending on how much you had left off when you created your magic ring. So go ahead and grab that shorter end and you're going to pull it. Just pull on that, and what we're doing is that we're closing our magic ring. See? It slowly closes it, and just pull it as much as you can until it is fully closed. Just be careful not to snap that off. Okay, so there you go. We've closed our magic ring, and now we are good to go for round 2. Now, round 2, we are going to do an increase. And what an increase is, when you do 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So in each stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets, which is an increase. So if you see in the pattern, it is 1 increase in each stitch. So go ahead and remove your stitch marker to get it out of the way, or you can leave it there if you want. We're going to do a regular single crochet right into that first stitch. So do 1 single crochet, regular single crochet, grab your stitch marker and mark up that first stitch so you can keep track of where the first stitch is. Go back into that same stitch that you just worked into, and you're going to do another single crochet. Okay, there you go. So you got 2 single crochets in that first stitch there. Now let's go to the next stitch here, and we're going to do another 2 single crochets, another increase. So go in there, make 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. It's that easy. So you just had another increase there. Go ahead and work into the other one, another increase. So that's 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. Okay, so go ahead and continue creating your increase into each stitch, and at the end of this round you should have 12 single crochets as a whole. So go ahead and pause the video and I will see you at the end. Alright, so we made it at the end of round 2, so we should have 12 single crochets. If you want to make sure, go ahead and count your stitches. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which is the one where your hook is at. Now we're going to round 3. Let's go ahead and change that counter there. And round 3 consists of 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch. So let me show you what I mean, and you're just going to repeat that 6 times. So it's a pattern. You'll see the pattern when you look at the pattern. Okay, so first we do 1 single crochet. So go into that next stitch, which is the first stitch from round 2, and we go in there and create a regular single crochet, just 1 single crochet, and go ahead and mark it up so that way you don't lose count, or if you do lose count you can come back and count your rows. Okay, so we got 1 single crochet, the next stitch here, so go into the next one and we're going to do an increase into that next stitch, which is what we did in round 2. So you do 2 single crochets into that next stitch. And that's 2 single crochets. Okay? And that's how it looks so far. So go ahead and do that again. So we do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, just 1. And then 2 single crochets into the next one. And repeat that pattern again. So you do 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the next one, which is your increase. Okay, so keep following that pattern of 1 single crochet and then an increase all the way around until you get to the end of your round. So at the end of this round, you're going to want to have 18 single crochets in total. And so go ahead and continue, and I will see you at the end. Okay, so we're at the end of our round here, of round 3, and I wanted to let you know that you want to make sure that sometimes you do lose track of where you are. So the last stitch is going to be an increase since the first stitch was a single crochet. Okay, so that's one way to make sure that you did it correctly, and also you want to count how many single crochets you have around, which in this case is 18. Now let's go ahead and move on over to round 4. The next pattern is 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then an increase. Okay, so let me show you how that works. So remove your stitch marker really quick. So go into that first stitch and create a regular single crochet. Make sure you mark it up again. Now we're gonna go into the next stitch, and instead of doing an increase like we did last round, we're gonna do another single crochet. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the next stitch and we're going to do an increase. So 2 single crochets into that one stitch. So go right in there and do 2 regular single crochets into that stitch. Good. Now you already have 4 single crochets. So let's go ahead and create the pattern again, and you're doing that pattern 6 times. So go ahead into that next stitch and do 1 single crochet. Go into the next one, do 1 single crochet. And then in the next one you do 2 single crochets in the same stitch, which is your increase. Okay, now continue doing that pattern all the way around. Okay, so you can pause the video if you want and come back to it when you finish round 3 of making 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then an increase. Okay, we made it to the end of our round here, and again, like in the other rows, you want to end with an increase since we did start with a single crochet. And in this round, if you want to go back and count your stitches, you should have 24 single crochets. Okay, so 24 stitches in this round. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next round. And the next round is going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 and then an increase. So if you see the pattern, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. We'll just keep going. So do a regular single crochet. Go ahead and grab your stitch marker and mark it up. Now we go into the next stitch and we're going to create another single crochet. Now the next stitch we do another single crochet. So that's 3 single crochets. 1 single crochet in those first 3 stitches. Now in the next one, instead of doing 1 single crochet, we're going to do 2 single crochets, meaning we are doing an increase into that 4th stitch. And that finishes the first part of the round. We're going to repeat that pattern 6 times again. So go ahead and do another single crochet, and then another single crochet in the next stitch, and then in the next stitch another single crochet, and then in the next stitch we do an increase. Okay, so it's 1 single crochet in the first 3 and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, which is your increase. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that pattern 6 times. If you were following, you should be doing it 4 more times. Okay, so go ahead and pause that video if you want to, and I'll see you when you finish the round. Here we are, that ends round 5, and again, make sure you end with an increase, and this round should have 30 stitches in total. So let's go ahead and move over to the next round, round 6. And what we're going to do, this is our last round, is we're going to do 4 single crochets. So 1 single crochet into the first 4 and then an increase. So I'll show you that one time so that way you can see how it goes. So 1 single crochet, mark up that first stitch so that way when you go around, you know where to stop. Just in case you lose count, you know. Now we're going to go into the next one and create 1 single crochet. That's our second. Now go ahead into the next one and create another single crochet, and that's our 3rd single crochet. And now we're going to do 1 more single crochet in there, making it our 4th single crochet. And this is where you're going to do your increase. So you're going to do 2 single crochet into that next stitch, which is your 5th stitch. So go ahead and do your increase. So 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay? So go ahead and repeat that pattern 6 times and go all the way around. At the end of your round, you should have 36 stitches. So go ahead and pause your video if you want, and I will see you at the end. Alright, so we finished round 6, which consists of 36 stitches. And again, make sure that you end with an increase. If you do not, then that means that you missed a stitch somewhere, whether it be in this round that you are working on or even the rounds below. So that's why it is good to count your stitches as you go along. Now we're going to fasten off our piece here. So go into that next stitch and we're just going to do a regular slip stitch like that. And go ahead and cut off, it doesn't have to be super long, just a good length that you can hide at the end. And just pull off your yarn just like that, and it is safe. It's good. You're good. You're good. Okay, so this finalizes the center part of the sunflower. However, we do need to make a second one. So go ahead and follow the pattern that I have in the link in the description box down below, or you can go ahead and rewind the video and follow along to create another circle. So I will see you in a snap. Okay, so I got my 2 circles here. Now I can show you what we're going to do to create the actual petals. And the trick here is that we're going to align our circles together and put them together, and we're going to sew it up while we are creating the petals. Yeah, I know it sounds a little confusing, but do not worry. I've got your back and I'm gonna help you out. Okay, so we've got our 2 circles, and now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna flip them around, and these are gonna become the inside of the charm. To make sure that these hide away, you want to go ahead and weave these in before we continue to create the petals. So go ahead and take care of that, and I'm just gonna snap so that way we can get there, okay? Okay. As you can see, I only weaved in the little ones that were in the center part because these longer ones do not bother me as much, and I plan to weave them in as I create my petals. So if you want to weave these in before we move forward, you can go ahead and take care of that now. But if not, and you want to continue with me, let's go ahead and assemble our piece together. Grab your 2 circles and we're going to place them back to back, and you can place them however you wish. You just want to make sure that each stitch goes along with the other stitch on the other side, okay? And go ahead and grab your hook and your yellow yarn, and you're going to go right into, like I said, any stitch that you want, and go into the back to correspond with it. And go ahead and grab your yellow and just pull it right through. Just like that. Very easy. Nothing scary. Nothing difficult. Grab your working yarn, not the little one, and create a chain 1. Now, we're going to go ahead and work into the next stitch here, and we're going to do a double crochet. So you yarn over and go into the next stitch, and again in the back. And I'm going to grab my yellow so that way I can weave it in as I go. Go ahead and grab your working yarn and pull it through. Yarn over and pull through 2. And go ahead and do that again. Yarn over and pull through your last 2. And now we're going to do a triple crochet. So yarn over twice. Go into that same exact stitch. Okay, make sure you're still holding onto that yellow if you're following along. Yarn over. Pull up that loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Now keep in mind of where that stitch is for the top of the triple stitch, and we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now go into that stitch that I told you to keep in mind of where it is. I'm going to go through there. Okay, that's where your top of the triple crochet is that you had done previously. You're going to yarn over and we're doing a slip stitch. So go through that stitch and the back stitch. And that creates your little point from the leaves. Now go ahead and create another triple crochet into the same stitch. So you yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through the last 2. And go ahead and create a double crochet into that same stitch. yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And the last one, we're going to go into the next stitch and we're doing a slip stitch. So put your hook right into the next one and the same thing in the corresponding in the back. And make sure you carry your yellow along. And go ahead and create your slip stitch. And that creates our first petal. Yay! Now let's keep going. We celebrate at the end. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to do that pattern once again. So it's a double crochet, triple crochet, chain 2, do that slip stitch in the top of the triple, and then you do triple again, double crochet, and then slip stitch. Okay? That was just a quick run through, so that way you know. But if you want to follow along again, the pattern, the free pattern, free, you guys, free. The free pattern is available for you, and you can find the link in the description box down below, so don't miss out, okay? Our next stitch is going to be a double crochet, so go ahead and yarn over, and we're going to place our hook into the next stitch, and the same thing in the back, go into the next stitch, and I'm going to continue to weave in my pieces here. Go ahead and yarn over and pull up your loop. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're doing a triple crochet, so yarn over twice, go into that same exact stitch. Okay, we're not moving forward yet, we're just going to that same stitch. Yarn over and pull up your loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through your last 2. Now keep in mind of where that stitch ended. So when I say when that stitch ended, the stitch has 2 parts to it, right? It has the 2 loops, so it's right here. This is the top of your triple crochet that you just did, okay? So after our chain 2, we're going in, right in there, all right? Just wanted to show you that just in case you couldn't find it the first time. So go ahead and chain 2, 1 and 2. We're gonna go into that top of the triple, and we're doing a slip stitch. So yarn over and slip through those 2 loops that are on your hook. Okay, so we've got our little peak there now. Go ahead and do another triple. So you yarn over twice and go into that same exact stitch. All of these are worked into the same stitch. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then do your double crochet. So you yarn over once, go into that same stitch, all of them in the same stitch. Yarn over and pull up your loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through the last 2. And then we're gonna solidify it by slipping stitch into the next stitch. Just like this. Okay? So that creates your second petal. Now what you're gonna do is that you're gonna create 14 petals in total, okay? And then we're gonna continue. So when you do 14 petals, you're gonna have a little opening, which is where you're gonna be able to insert your little things that you wanna hide, like your earbuds or even the roll of bags, okay? And I'll show you how to continue with the petals, so that way the opening can continue to stay open for you. Okay, so go ahead and create the rest of the petals, and you're gonna have 14 petals in total, okay? So I will see you there. All right, so I have just finished my last petal here, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna extend this really quick so I don't lose it, and I'm just gonna remove these pieces that I've been weaving in, and I'm just gonna literally just cut it at the base here without cutting the rest of my pattern. Okay, and now we can continue. So I'm gonna put my hook back in there and continue these petals. So as you can see, it has a little pocket right there. If you do not like your pocket this small, you can definitely extend it and not do the 14 petals and do 13 instead. But for purposes of this video, we're gonna do 14. And now what we're gonna do is that instead of continuing to sew both pieces together, so instead of putting your hook through the front and the back, we're only gonna put it through the front. Okay, but we're gonna continue to do the petals the exact same way. So go ahead and create the next petal. So you're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. Now let's go ahead and create another petal. Now this is where it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, we're going to create the little hoop of the front here, which is what you put the string through. For that little hoop, we're going to chain 7. So go ahead and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Good. Now we're going to go into that same stitch and do a slip stitch. Right in there. A little slip stitch. Might be a little difficult. So now you got your little hoop there, okay? Now we're going to continue to create the petals. So go ahead and do a double crochet into that next stitch. Okay, so I made it to the end here, and what you're going to do is that you're literally just going to go and do a slip stitch right into that stitch there. A regular slip stitch, okay? Good. So now we did the front part, so now we're going to do the back part of it. So go ahead and turn your work, and we're going to do what we've been doing. So we've already made our slip stitch here. So go ahead and do a double crochet into this next stitch here. Double crochet. Nothing special, is that easy, just like that, okay? And make sure you're only connecting into the back circle. So go ahead and do 2 petals, and then I'm going to show you how to do the long string here that goes through the little hoop. Okay, so we're at the end here. We're going to do our slip stitch, which is the last part of the petal, okay? So now what we're going to do is that we are going to do a whole bunch of chains. We are going to do 40 chains on this side. So go ahead and create 40 chains. If you think you will get confused or you will get lost, go ahead and do chain 1 and use your stitch marker to stitch or to mark up that first one. So that way, if for any reason you lose count, you can count from that first stitch, okay? So go ahead and create your 40 chains, and then I'll show you what you're going to do next. Alright, so I've got my 40 chains here, and what I'm going to do, and what you're going to do, is that we're going to do exactly what we did in the front, and we're just going to go back into that same stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So go ahead and insert your hook right in there. Go ahead and yarn over, and pull that loop through, and go right into that back loop that you already have on your hook, and you have created your little string part. It's that easy, very easy. So go ahead and create your last 2 petals just like we have been doing. So do a yarn over and go into the next stitch and do your double crochet and continue your petals. I did my last petal, and just like we did on the other side, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch right into the next stitch here. So do a regular slip stitch to finalize your last petal. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and snip this off with a good amount of length, so that way you can just weave it in. Go ahead and fasten off, and you have finished your little bag charm sunflower version. Look at that, it's so freaking cute. I love it. So what you're going to do with this piece is you're just going to weave it in. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that real quick. And that ends our pattern. Oh my gosh, give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this pattern. We have finished this cute little pouch where you can put your earbuds into it, or you could even put a roll of bags in there. And then you just simply put the long string into the little string, just like so. And that is it. It's so easy to make, very beginner friendly. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this pattern. I would love to know what y'all think. And you know, what's really cool about this pattern is that you can literally just like do this, right? And shrink it up, and then you get a cute little keychain. And this is actually a little sneak peek of something that I will be creating for your next video. as always, thank you for sticking around and thank you for coming by and checking out this video and this tutorial with the free pattern that you can have. And if you enjoyed this video, then you're definitely going to enjoy this next one right over there. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't already, and I will see you there. All right, goodbye everyone. Bye bye.